Radio Split Ranch.
Hello and welcome once again to Radio Split Ranch, a monthly visit with the Capital Region's great broadcasters of the past and sometimes present. I'm Warren Garling when I'm not on the radio. Another interesting example today of a career that slipped back and forth between radio and television. And for this month's guest, neither one was really on her radar at the beginning of her work life. But I think you'll agree, she's been doing a fine job both on the mic and on the camera over the last 30 plus years. Enjoy the story as told by Tracy Villaume. Well, first of all, we have to start this with a happy birthday. I just realized it's your birthday today. Tracy Villaume,
Yes.
happy birthday. 25
Thank you.
25 and holding, is that what it is?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
okay. Very good. Well, it's great to catch up with you. We worked in the same building for a while, and then we appeared occasionally on the same radio stations, but I don't know a lot about your background and where it all started, and we'll certainly want to talk about where it is right now. So many things have been happening to you lately. So let's start toward the beginning. Are you from the area originally?
I was born in Brooklyn,
Okay.
but my parents split when I was 8, and my mom moved us to the Queensbury, Lake George area because my grandmother lived there.
Okay.
So I went to high school in Lake George, and when I graduated, I said, I'm out of here, never coming back to the small town. And somehow I came full circle about 15 years ago due to my husband's work, actually.
Okay.
And, we had kids here. So I committed to being an upstate New York girl because I didn't want to move my kids around. And I've grown to really love it. I mean, it really feels like home.
Well, that's good. And you also know so much. You grew up here, so you can talk about it coherently, on the radio. Yeah. So, good for you. I don't know if I know anybody that went to, Lake George schools. So, again.
Rachel Ray did.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I've forgotten that. Yeah. You know the area well. And where did it lead you? Now, when did the broadcasting bug hit you? That's probably the easiest thing to ask. When did that start rearing its ugly head?
Well, I actually had quite a successful career in corporate communications and event planning before becoming a broadcaster. But for much of that, I worked for broadcasters. I was at the National Association of Broadcasters in D.C. in their television department for about 6 years. And I worked at NBC Universal in Manhattan for 2 years. So I'd always been around television broadcasters, and I always kind of had this secret desire to be a news reporter. But I just never really had the confidence to go for it.
Okay.
So I was content with working around and for broadcasters. But when my husband got the job in Albany and we came back upstate, I didn't have any experience in broadcasting. So I sort of fell into event planning work.
Okay.
And when I was a convention director locally during my time with that employer, my father passed away. And my dad always used to say to me, you should be on TV. You remind me of Katie Couric. And when you lose someone you're that close to, you do sort of reevaluate, think about life and how short it is.
Yes.
So I quit my very well-paying and a pretty high-level job to go to broadcasting school.
Oh, be darned.
I went to the new school for radio and television.
Cool.
I was the oldest person in my class. We actually, Kelly O'Donnell from Channel 6 was our instructor. He's now at Siena College. We still keep in touch. He took us on tours of television stations. And one of those tours was actually WGY News Radio. And I met the late Mike Patrick, who gave us the tour. When I left, I was like, maybe radio news could be a possibility. And of course, I sent Mike a thank you email. And he said, somehow I knew you would be the only student to reach out to me.
Interesting. Must have been something you did during that tour, something you said, or yeah, there
because
you
I
go.
was very curious about radio because I knew only stuff about television, and that's where I thought I wanted to be. And so he said, if you ever need anything, let me know. So when I graduated, there was this opening for every other weekend, early mornings, doing news for like 11 different markets, and not
Okay.
WGY,
Oh,
but
interesting. Yeah. Of course, they were
all other markets.
they're part of iHeart Radio. So, iHeart Media.
Right.
So that's who you were on other iHeart stations, right?
Yep. So
Right.
I reached out to Mike and he got me an interview with Jeff Wolf and I wound up getting that job.
Cool.
And so I, was working, getting up at like 3 a.m, going into WGY, and I did a pretty good job. And so my boss said, would you like to train to do live news on the Joe Gallagher show?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, of course I do. So I wound up doing the news on the Joe Gallagher show. And Joe and I had a really good rapport. We had good chemistry.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. And I think at that point, the folks at WGY got to know my personality as well as what I could do as far as reading and collecting and writing the news.
Right.
So when Kelly was out on the Chuck and Kelly show, I would fill in with Chuck.
During the weekdays.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So
well, I got to interrupt you here and say, first of all, I haven't met too many people that don't get along with Joe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, he's just that kind of person, that kind of personality. He's a great guy. I have weekly breakfast with him and he says hi when I told him I'd be interviewing you this week. So he says hi, and you were certainly one of his favorites, and you were the perfect foil for him. And that's what we all were. I mean, I guested on his show weekly for a good 12, 15 years, believe it or not.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. We knew how to work off of each other, and I knew which buttons to push, and he also knew what to say to me. So, yeah, but you two were a good pair, and that's when I first came across your presence on WGY. I had no idea you'd been there for a while doing other stations, though. That's interesting.
And I was doing that in the mornings, early mornings on the weekends. So I started working during the week more, and then I wound up getting a second part-time job at Channel 10.
Okay, well, there's the TV thing finally, right?
Yes. So I was associate producing there, but I made it clear I wanted to be a reporter. And within 3 months, we call it MMJing. So I was filming, writing, voicing, and airing stories every day.
Mm.
So I was working as a television reporter. And at the same time, I was working more and more during the week on WGY.
Not bad for somebody that was afraid to get into it for so long.
I know, right? So I was loving life. I was an anchor and reporter on radio. I was a reporter on TV. And I did both for about a year. And then, of course, the way things go, Channel 10 got a new news director, and he eliminated all the part-time positions.
Oh, boy.
But that made me more available at WGY. So Jeff was sending me out more and more. He got me a regular live show during the week on WGY. And I was still looking for something else to supplement.
Sure.
And there was a part-time reporter job at Channel 13.
Okay.
So I interviewed and was offered that job, and the news director said, we just have to check your references. So I went into Jeff Wolf, my boss at WGY, and I said, hey, you're going to be getting a call from Channel 13. And he said, why? And I said, oh, he's going to check references. It's a part-time reporter role. And he goes, I don't think it's right for you. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm going to do like I did at 10. I'm still staying here. It's part-time. I'm going to do both just like I did for 10.
Sure.
And he was like, okay. So, and I thought that was so strange. So I go home and I'm thinking, why doesn't he think that, I was just very confused. And I wound up getting a call from Randy McCartan
Sure.
later in the day.
Yep. My boss for many, many years there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Randy basically said, we're having a change on the morning show on the river. Not too many people know about this yet, but Jeff said that you're about to take another job, but I'd like you to interview to be a morning show co-host. I had filled in once on the river. I was voice tracking something on the river in the afternoons.
Oh, okay.
For a little while. So that's how Randy kind of got to know me.
Sure.
But I'm like, I'm a news person. I'm like, are you sure? and, and he said, you had really good chemistry with Kevin when you filled in. And he's like, of course you have to apply, and we can't guarantee that you're going to get the job, but I think you would be really great for it. But it's early mornings, but it is full time. And I thought a lot about it, maybe not too long, because it was just such a great opportunity.
Sure.
And so I applied for it and wound up getting that job. So that's how I wound up on the river.
Wow.
And that was in 2018.
It's interesting, Tracy, you bring up when you say, wait a minute, I'm a news person and you're talking about me doing, a music shift. If you had been, a little more experienced at smaller stations, you probably would have realized a lot of us did both at the same time. But it's usually in the smaller markets. You started at the top station in, a medium-sized market, medium to small these days, I guess. And so you didn't realize that, hey, I used to do mornings on the radio station in Saratoga, go out for breakfast at 9 o'clock, come back and do 10 to 3 as a disc jockey. So, it was just, that was normal for the time, And so here you jumped in. The way you jumped in, of course, was, kind of in the middle of a station that separates the two, or a company anyway that separates the two. So,
yeah.
So, surprise to you, but not to us, actually. When somebody sees talent, knows talent, they can understand how, you might be interested in something a little different. And so what did you think? I mean, did it click right away?
Yeah. I mean, Kevin and I, it's so funny because we worked in the same building for 3 years. And we had one conversation because he was in early mornings. And when I was on WGY during the week, I was coming in the afternoons after my Channel 10 job.
Yeah.
So it's funny how quickly we clicked and became fast friends. And he helped guide me, and teach me music radio stuff that I knew nothing about because it's very different than the news stuff.
Sure. Now, what's your background music wise? Did you enjoy popular music, or were you a polka aficionado, or what?
I grew up a classic rock girl, but with my kids and like the river was always my station I listened to in the car.
Well, that helped.
And it's really funny because years prior, when I was still a convention director, I worked in Greenwich.
Okay.
East Greenwich. So I had about a 40-minute commute. And I used to listen to Kevin with Randy Tyler. And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder what that job would be like. Like, seems like an interesting job. But the thought floated out of my head. And then when I was in broadcasting school, the one and only time I called a radio station to win a prize, it was the River. And I wound up winning it. It was a Lord and Taylor gift card.
Oh, wow.
And Kevin and Shanna were on.
Yep.
And I wound up winning the gift card, which is so funny. I mean, I never in a million years would have thought that I would be the person giving those prizes one day.
There you go. Isn't that crazy?
So the river was always kind of part of my life, I think, even before. But again, I know music pretty well. I love all kinds of music. but I just had never thought I'd be working in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, my entry into the business was exactly that. I called up and bothered disc jockeys all the time. So I'd be winning albums, 45s, theater tickets, stuff like that. And just one of them clicked and I became pretty close friends with him. And he winds up getting me my first gig on the radio without any education, just practicing in my basement, and they thought I could do it. And I was 16 and I started. So, it's a crazy business. And as I'm sure have learned, it's not always what you know, it's who you know.
That is so true, because once I started doing this, I've been laid off twice from radio and was always able to sort of get back into it based on the people I knew in the industry from the news school. Yep. And it really is a community.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Mike Patrick, taught at the school for years.
Yes.
And so he obviously he knew talent when he saw it. I was lucky enough to work there for 5 years myself back in the late 70s, early 80s. And I was programming WGNA at the time, and I grabbed the best students all the time. I just made sure they knew that I was interested in them. And so I got some great talent out of there. And obviously Mike saw it in you as well to get your start. But yeah, it's an interesting route that you've taken, to get where you are at that point. So how long were you and Kevin together? Well, give me some highlights. I just recently talked with Kelly Lynch, and she talked about, I think this was after we had stopped recording. She talked about how she misses the radiothons. She really enjoyed making money for the Children's Hospital and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I know that's something that usually sticks with you. Same thing in my career as well. So what are your thoughts on some of the stuff you did when you were there at the river?
Working with Kevin was definitely a highlight. He moved to Florida in 2020. We wanted to do a hybrid show, but iHeart was like, no, we need to have two people here. And when I got laid off during COVID, by the time COVID was over, everything was different. So we were able to go back and do a hybrid show. So that was a highlight, being able to do that morning show with Kevin again. And I think altogether we were just over 5 years together.
Not bad.
But the things we loved the most, we both absolutely loved Radiothon. He and I would commit to 12 hours of broadcasting 2 days in a row. WGY would stop after the show, but Kevin and I would go on the river from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 2 days in a row.
Wow.
We just loved meeting the families, watching a lot of them grow up. Some of them we talked to in 2018 are still parts of our lives. Like this one girl, Isabella, we're friends on Instagram and Facebook, and we go to the same church, and I see her all the time, and it's just wonderful to see her doing well. And so the Radiothon, absolutely a highlight. We used to call it our 2 favorite days of broadcasting a year. A lot of work, but worth every single minute.
Sure.
When that, to watch the community come behind this hospital and just, the amount of money raised, the companies that sponsored and the people who called in donations, when we would read that final number, we would just burst into tears because it was just so moving and special.
Yeah.
And I love that all the money stayed locally too, because a lot of times, you don't know where your money's going when you donate.
True.
But, I think people could just really feel good about those 2 days.
Yeah. I lucked out. I had the local National Kidney Foundation chapter, if you will, approached me in about 82, 83. I was still programming WGNA at the time, and they wanted to do a country music radiothon. And so the management said, that's cool. So we did a whole weekend commercial free and made money for them. The next year we doubled that. The next year we doubled that again. And they're giving me all these every year at the annual meeting. They're giving me all these plaques and awards and stuff. Finally, after about 5 years, they said, "We'd like you to join the board." I think they ran out of things to give me to thank me for doing this for them. It became one of their biggest fundraisers, and you know what? I wound up not only on the local board, but I was on the national board for 10 years, and it's the greatest feeling, giving back. And I always got more out of it than anything that I gave. That's how I always felt. So I know where you're coming from.
I do think that my other experiences that stand out are kind of similar, because I also really loved taking over the planning and execution of Pay Less for the Dress. And,
yes.
Randy had asked me, because I have an event planning background, to kind of take charge of it. And every year that we did it, it just grew and grew and grew. And this past year, we raised like $11,000 for two charitable organizations.
Nice.
And also offered area students affordable prom dresses. So that event is like a win-win-win. You're getting these gently used dresses donated by the community.
Yes.
And you're selling them to people so that they can have, students so they can have an affordable prom. And then all of the proceeds go to two nonprofit organizations. So I just love doing that event. And so Radiothon and Pay Less for the Dress definitely highlights.
Cool.
And I also just loved meeting so many community leaders and business owners and nonprofit executives through the radio station. And two of the projects that I worked on, Together for Youth, they're a foster organization, and I did a series of interviews with them in several different markets, and that was just so meaningful. You're doing something for these people who selflessly work every day of their lives to help others.
Yeah.
And you're like, we just make people laugh, or we just talk on the radio. But it really, doing those projects really gave me the sense of giving back and using what I do for a living to help others. And that made it so special. And that's also how I met the organizers and founder of Night Out for You, which is a local nonprofit that provides experiences to people undergoing cancer treatments. And I met Kate Hockford. She passed away a little more than a year ago. And Mary McGarvey. They asked me to be on the board when I came back to the river.
Nice.
And I've been on the board ever since. So for quite a few years. And I never would have made that contact or had that opportunity if it wasn't for my radio job.
Oh, there you go. No, I absolutely. I think you'd be hard pressed to find too many disc jockeys, announcers, personalities, whatever you want to call them these days, that have not had the same experience. That once they connect, either for a radiothon or some sort of promotion, all of a sudden it changes the direction of your life sometimes, and it makes you makes you a better person, and makes you more worldly, and like you say, you're meeting movers and shakers that you never thought you would, and stuff like that. And I felt the same way the entire time I was doing it, for sure. And there's no greater feeling. It's just great. It's why my license plate says "give." That's my license plate on my car. I just think it's a great word. And when people stop me and say, "Oh, I like your license plate there," I said, "Yeah, it's probably the second best word to love. It's just give." Yeah.
I so get it now, because I am, as you know, because you've probably interviewed many of them, there are so many people in this area who literally grew up on radio.
Oh, yeah.
It's like their only career.
Yep.
And I came into radio so late in my career, and it was like, wow, like people literally die in radio. I mean, just, I can't tell you how many people I've seen retire but come back just to do stuff part-time.
That's true. Yeah.
I get it now. I get that love for it. Kevin and I used to joke, like, the money's not great.
No, true.
But we love what we do, and that makes it so much worth it.
Right now, you guys need to hear the tale of Battle Royale. Break Room. 1203 Troy Schenectady
this
Road.
is really just a tale of me being an idiot. I could tell the tale, or maybe I should just read you the email that I sent to the money guy here.
The money guy in our
because I want
building.
my money back.
Okay. All right. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Because you have to paint the picture of what happened to our money guy. His name is Chris. So he has to understand what happened. So if that would help our audience understand what happened. So go right ahead. I love this, though. I was told this story by seeing Tracy coming down the hall looking defeated and saying, just stamp idiot on my forehead.
Yes, just stamp idiot on my forehead. I did not say that to Chris.
Okay.
Hi, Chris. The beverage vending machine owes me $7.50. Exclamation point.
There was, just so you guys know, there were
everyone's
glasses.
like, oh, okay. She is an idiot.
No, our vending machine has glasses of wine in it.
Okay, here we go. I unsuccessfully attempted to get 2 blueberry. I'm such an idiot. I'm laughing reading at my stupidity. I unsuccessfully attempted to get 2 blueberry waters, parentheses, $1.75 each. They are currently in the bottom of the machine.
By the way, our machine is not the kind that drops beverages to the bottom like a candy machine.
No, this little arm goes up, zzz, zzz, and it takes it and then goes. Bop,
yeah,
it
kind of slides it into this little cup holder on the side of the machine. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen those. It almost gives you like a little presentation. Like, oh, that's cool if it works right.
Well, the blueberry waters were tilted a little bit. So it didn't fall into the cup. And then when the cup moved away, it fell down in the bottom of the machine. But I really wanted one. So I tried again. ... Then 2 unsuccessful attempts at a cherry Schweppes.
What made you think the cherry Schweppes would be any better? Were they
because it wasn't tilted. But what it did was the arm goes up, zoop, zoop, hits the tilted blueberry water that has not fallen down, the next one in line, and then goes back. Zoop, zoop. Parentheses, one of which is currently
I got to go see this vending machine.
in the arm.
Do you have pictures
to
post?
Pictures, yeah. One of which is currently stuck in the arm. Because I don't know why I tried again. And then period. I probably should have stopped trying, but I was really thirsty. 3 exclamation points.
If you're hoping,
I cannot get the money, would love the beverages. Thanks,
oh my
Tracy,
God.
the biggest idiot in the world.
If ladies and gentlemen, you are hoping that this story has a happy ending,
It does not. I'm drinking water from the cooler out of a paper coffee cup.
There's obviously opportunity to make money. I've been able to do very well, but initially when I went back to that every other weekend stuff, I was like making like $10 an hour.
Oh yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it. And
Yeah.
not a lot of people can say they love what they do.
Well, that's true. I mean, I really did it for peanuts I was only in full time for like 17 years and then went part time after that. And I still couldn't get it out of my system. Loved every moment of it. And so when I did get let go by iHeart a few years back, just before COVID, they saved a whole $3,000 a year on my salary. I mean,
I know. Sometimes I don't get it. It's like, wait,
no.
you let that person go?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't make any sense to me.
It's not going to save you.
Yeah. And our friend Joe Gallagher was let go the same day and wound up coming back. Okay. They brought him back. He's done now. And we were having breakfast. Actually, the wives were included a couple of weeks ago. And his wife, Kathy, kept saying to me, you got to get this guy to do a podcast. I got to, and I'm thinking it's probably to get him out of her hair for a little while, but bottom line is
they're spending time with their grandkids.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Traveling a bit and stuff. I keep in touch with them.
That's good. That's good.
It's nice to see. But yeah, so many people miss Joe on the air still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And people, it's so funny. So I went on to, have pretty good, I got a morning show gig, during the week. I'm like, pretty cool, right? And I will meet people sometimes and they're like, I miss you on the Joe Gallagher show.
Yeah, right,
It's like,
exactly. Nothing.
but I'm doing something really cool.
Yeah, right, exactly. Nope, that's exactly what happens. You get, there's a favorite time, and the audience recognizes that. They enjoyed what you two did and how you clicked, and so they're going to remember that. Absolutely. No, it's and I had so much fun doing that. Obviously what's going to happen is the air check I put at the end of this podcast will be Joe and I on the radio from back in the day. So
I love that.
yeah, they're very popular when I put them on here at the end of the podcast. So we'll find one. I may
He's a
even have
legend.
one. I may even have one where you're in there too. I'll have to go searching to see if I have one from when you were also in the studio. That'd be a kick. So,
that would be fun.
Yeah. So you and Kevin are together. You're having all this fun, and you're meeting and greeting, new people and making new friends and all that. And what does it wind up coming down to, in just the last few months here?
Okay, so we got back together in 2023 when Howard Griner was the president in the market. We pitched coming back. Randy McCartan was handling the morning show and he was retiring. So Kevin and I stayed friends, throughout COVID and after he moved, and we were having dinner together and we're like, Randy's retiring. They've got the technology now. Why don't we pitch coming back? And Howard Griner let us come back.
Nice.
So it took a few months.
Yep.
So we did a hybrid show for about 3.5 years. It had challenges, a lot of technical challenges. It was tough, Kevin not being in market. And about 2 years in, there was another a round of layoffs. And I said to Kevin, I feel like our time is limited. I feel like the company is going in a certain direction. And he agreed. At that point, I decided to start helping out on the promotion side because I wanted to have something to fall back on if I couldn't be on air to stay in the industry. And I was like the interim promotions director for about a year.
Good.
And during that time, we switched from Howard Griner to Rob Vanderbeck as president. And things got a lot better because Rob really knew the area. He really knew the stations, and he was that creative that you want in radio.
Good.
And things got really good again. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything's going to be all right. But always had in the back of my mind, this is limited.
Yeah.
We're living our best lives, but all radio comes to an end. And then there was another round. And that's when Jamie Roberts got let go from TRY. And I was like, oh boy, I can't even believe we're safe,
Sure.
And so I started kind of looking. Kevin was aware of this. I'm like, I want to have a plan B when our time comes.
Good idea.
About 2 months ago, I got offered and accepted a position with Channel 10. And so I went into Rob, and he kind of also knew that I was trying to plan for my future, my last chapter of my career.
Yeah.
So he wasn't surprised when I gave my notice, but the next day he asked if I would stay on in the afternoons. I was like, oh gosh, I never even really thought that would be an option. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I started my new job at Channel 10, and I was doing afternoons on the river. And the Channel 10 job did not work out. I was there for a week, and at the end of the week, very amicable, sort of like there's no drama. It just didn't work out. It was not the position that I thought it was going to be. nor was it the position that they thought it was going to be. Like
Okay.
it's hard to explain because it was a
Sure.
brand new role.
Sure.
But it just ultimately did not wind up being the role
Well,
for me.
I'm glad you've cleared that up, because there were rumors flying that it was not amicable and that, they had gotten you there under, false pretenses and all these things that I see and hear flying around. And I'm glad you straightened that out, that it just wasn't going to work.
I don't fault them and they don't fault me. It was a new role. It's just one of those things. And oh my gosh, when I worked at Channel 10 for that year as a reporter, it was one of my favorite jobs. And
Nice.
I really like and respect everyone who works over there. And I think, I feel like it's mutual. So no hard feelings at all. I mean, a little embarrassing for me because it looks like I'm a total flake,
It happens. Yeah.
But it happens. And I'm at the point in my career where I think 15, 20 years ago, I would have just stayed and been unhappy if I didn't kind of bring up my concerns. So it just wound up being the right thing. And there's no regrets there. And we're still absolutely on good terms.
Good.
So, yeah, I'm glad. I didn't know there were rumors flying around.
Radio is a small community and getting smaller all the time when you think about it.
Yeah.
As far as local talent is concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally wish them much success and
Sure. Sure.
So, but anyway.
So you've got the afternoons on the river, Yeah.
So here I am, afternoons on the river, and it's only part-time, but I start to really embrace it. And I'm like loving life, and I'm still working with the same clients, and I'm starting up new features, and waking up in the light, Chris, has been
that right there. I didn't experience a lot of that in my career. I was a morning man for a long time. Yeah.
Right.
So waking up when it was already light out was really cool. Yeah.
It changed my life. I mean, after 3.5 years of waking up in the dark, I didn't realize how much it was sort of affecting me because I just became a different person. So I was really just loving it. I was loving life, and I loved being able to see my coworkers more because usually I was like heading out and they were really coming in.
Sure.
And then lo and behold, a month later, I got laid off again.
The timing is just unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, the timing is unbelievable. And when I moved off of mornings, and this was not a surprise to my co-host, Kevin, we're really good friends. And as I've told many people, he knew every step of the way, every interview, every interest I had. He knew that I was looking for the change.
Sure.
But when I moved off of mornings, iHeart wound up letting him go. Completely.
Yeah.
And that said to me, if I didn't move off of mornings, when I did get laid off a couple weeks ago, Kevin and I would have gotten laid off together.
That's true. Yeah.
So the past 2 years, I think I had that intuition and I kind of saw this coming. So when Rob did tell me that they were going to have to let me go, there were no tears or anything. There were tears from other people, which ultimately made me cry.
Well, that's nice to hear. Sure.
Yes. I was prepared for it. Let's just say it that way.
Oh, yeah.
I was prepared
you saw it coming. You knew it had to happen. And to be very honest with you, the whole time you're in radio, it's tenuous. I mean, I was with WGNA for like 9 out of 10 years. And it just came out of nowhere. Made my wife say, maybe there's something else besides radio you could try. And if I hadn't taken her advice there, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd still be working, at some 250-watt daytime radio station somewhere, So luckily I was able to retire because of the career change that I made and still had fun doing radio part-time, which... Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, though. So I was sad. And don't get me wrong, it sunk in a week later. It sunk in that, gosh, this is over. Not radio, because I have other opportunities in radio.
Yeah.
But the river.
Yeah.
It was very sad to know that because when I got laid off the first time, I always knew I'd be back.
Ah.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I always knew I'd be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I felt my heart broke more for my friends and my coworkers
Sure.
who grew up in radio. It's not as easy for them. I mean, I have other skills. I had another portion of my career. So I have things I can fall back on,
Right.
An event planning job or a corporate communications job. But these guys, and I say guys because they were all men, they have to reinvent themselves after 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
No, it
So
won't
my
be.
heart was broken for multiple reasons.
Sure.
Not just feeling sorry for myself, but really sad for my friends
Yeah.
who loved what they did
Yep.
and may not have the opportunity to do it again.
It's possible the way the business is going. I did finally get over it, believe it or not. It was only just a few months ago after seeing a group of radio stations where nobody was there on a Friday afternoon. There was nobody, at any of the stations. They'd all voice tracked and gone home. And I left that building and I said, you know what? I don't ever have to step into one of these buildings again. I'm fine with it. And I'm doing pretend radio, as an old college buddy calls it. I mean, having a ball with this podcast and another one that I do for my old college. And, so there's a future. And especially when you're retired like me, it's when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm fine with that too. I can live without it. Now, there's one. I was going to call it a highlight, but perhaps we should call it a low light that we haven't talked about. And it's something that physically happened to you a few years ago that made the headlines. I mean, you were seriously injured. Did you mind talking about it? I know it was a traumatic experience for you, but in case people aren't familiar, set it up for us. Tell us what happened to you.
It was a Live at 5. It was a Latin night, and it was rainy and stormy. So they moved to the rain location, which is underneath the overpass.
787, yeah, exactly,
yeah. Kevin was not in town for this event. I was emceeing it my own, but I did have street team there with me. I introduced the first act, and it was Bronte Roman, who we have become friends since then. A trauma bond, but she's a wonderful human being. But we clicked right away when I met her because we're both Brooklyn girls. And so I introed her, and they had to stop her performance because lightning was starting.
Oh,
right?
Boy. Yep.
So the wind started to pick up as well. So I went over to the tent. We had the tent up even though we were covered because, our logo and all that. We were doing prizes and everything.
Yep.
And it was getting super, super windy. So we were all holding the tent. And we're like, we've got to take it down. We have to try and get it down. We had a fireman helping us. I was on one set of legs, and the rain was coming sideways. It was whipping in. So we're getting soaking wet. And it made the tent, so slippery that I could not get the latch undone to lower the legs because it was just too wet.
Yeah.
And so I stood up and I was like, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, they call it, I know now, it was a microburst.
Oh,
it was 80 mile per hour wind.
Yep.
I almost cursed. Just blew and literally lifted me off my feet. And I can only describe it as it felt like I was I'm getting a little bit of anxiety talking about it, but it felt like and looked like I was in a washing machine because things were whipping like in front of my face, and I could see like the tent cover, and it's weird. And next thing I know, I am on the ground about 40 feet away. And my head hits the pavement and I hear like a ringing in my ears. You know when you watch a movie and a bomb goes off and it's like, boom?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you actually hear that. And I heard that and I started to go, like things started to go dark. And I remember saying, oh no, oh no. And I'm looking to grab my phone because my first instinct was, I got to call my husband. But things were going dark and a fireman ran over to me and he grabbed me. So it kind of shook me out of it. And he said, are you okay? And I looked down and I was very, very wet. And I thought, well, it's the rain, but the water was pink. I said, yeah, I think so. And he kind of lifted me up and brought me over to this golf cart because he wanted to drive me over to where they had medical set up.
First aid, yeah.
First aid. But I kept saying, I need my phone, I need my phone. And he's like, if I take my foot off the gas, we're going to blow away. I mean, the wind was still really whipping a lot.
Yeah.
But it finally died down and he drove me over and another fireman got onto the golf cart and he was like, oh boy. And my street team now is standing and they're looking at me and they just look really concerned and scared. I did not realize.
You didn't know, yeah.
I did not realize that basically the tent had hit me in the face.
Yeah.
And I was cut from my forehead straight through the middle between my eyes and over my nose. I mean, so this is graphic, but it was so gross that you could see my bone. And I didn't know this. The fireman wrapped me up and then I told the street team to take a picture of me because I thought it was funny. It's weird. Boy. I must have been in shock.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I had a terrible headache, but I knew it was, my white shirt was all red. I was covered in blood. So I said, take a picture of me, They found my phone and I called my husband and then they put me in an ambulance and we had to wait quite some time because there were so many trees down and so many emergencies in the city. It was a long time before I got to the hospital. When I ultimately did get there, I don't think I was stitched up until like 1 a.m. because they wanted to do a CAT scan because they were very scared for a brain bleed.
Well, it's a head injury, sure. Yeah.
And thank God there was no brain bleed, but I did have a concussion, a broken nose, and I got about 26 stitches, I think. So yeah, it was it was definitely traumatic. I healed really well.
Yeah, you gotta. If there were an Academy Award for plastic surgeons, I'll tell you, your guy or girl, whoever it was, we were just so happy the way it's turned out. I mean, you're always a nice looking lady anyway, and they were able to bring you back. I mean, I saw the before and I haven't seen you since, but I've seen photos. Obviously, that's just amazing what they were able to do.
It was a 4th-year plastic surgery resident, young girl. I can't even remember her name because it was a complicated last name.
Okay.
So she stitched me up. I did have a little bit of a problem where a suture wasn't dissolving and I was going to have another surgery. But by the time they booked the surgery, it was like a day thing. And by the time I got there, it had dissolved and it had been months. It was crazy. So I didn't have to get cut again. But when I went back, I said, can you remind me who the plastic surgeon was? Because I definitely want to book her for my facelift in a few years. Because she did such an amazing job. And also credit to the fireman, Marty, who I still talk to this day.
Nice.
Marty Tubbs from the Albany Fire Department. He's my hero. He laughs when I say that. But him bandaging me up, he did such a good job of it. It certainly helped kind of keep my face together, if you will.
That's true.
Until I got stitched up, which was really helpful too.
Yeah. Wow.
So if I could remember the plastic surgeon's name, I'd give her a shout out, but definitely to Marty and the Albany Fire Department. They say, we were just doing our jobs, but you know what?
They all say that.
It was scary And I never would have gotten through it if it weren't for them.
Yeah. Firefighters and first responders, policemen, that sort of thing. It's if they're trained well and they're good at their job, it's second nature. They just know what to do and when to do it. And obviously Marty did, and made it a little easier for your plastic surgeon down the road, So good for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, that's a harrowing story. Thank you for sharing it again, because it really is a part of your history here. People do remember it and are just thrilled that the final outcome was that you're fine and, you still enjoy radio, so there's some brain damage. But, other than that.
I do get a little PTSD on stormy days.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
It was 2 years, June 20th. And I think the PTSD is finally, I don't have nightmares anymore, and definitely did have an effect on me.
Oh, sure.
And the fact that I'm very, very happy. I mean, I was lucky to not have any brain damage or anything. So I was very happy about that. But as a woman with that grotesque injury on my face, it does something to you. So it really, and I can see the scar. People tell me all the time, I can't even see the scar. And I was like, oh, come on. You're gaslighting me. It's there. But fortunately, the PTSD is subsiding, and
good.
Yeah, it's just a good story to tell now,
It is, which is why I wanted to include it. And to be honest with you, I had put it behind me as well. It only dawned on me as I'm talking to you that that story about, her accident, I haven't even thought about that. And I really hadn't. I really wasn't going to ask you the question. We could have gotten all the way through it if it hadn't popped into my head. So
I always said during the healing process, it's like, if I didn't before, definitely have a face for radio now.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Well, I'll tell you, I'm happy that it's turned out the way it has. So what are the plans here, Tracy, now that you've been laid off yet again? And, and the world is now your oyster. You can do anything you want to do. You got some irons in the fire? Anything you can share with us, or what's happening?
I'm working on some things. It's so funny because today's my birthday, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. I do have some opportunity to kind of do something in radio. Certainly, I'm going to continue to voice ads and stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But that's not full time. I have taught journalism at Siena College and 1 year at St. Rose. I had 4 classes in journalism, and this fall I'm teaching digital media literacy at Siena.
So good for you.
But also part-time. So I don't want to give up the teaching. I want to do that when I can, because that is so fulfilling.
Oh, God, it's so rewarding. Yes.
I enjoy it so much. It's funny because I am inspiring some students to move into journalism as a career. But I'm very honest with them, because journalism is so different now.
Oh, yeah.
And, you're not going to get rich. It's changing. You're going to have to do more. You're not just going to be a pretty face holding a microphone.
Right.
But then the students who really still love it and embrace it, that's what they're aspiring to do.
Well,
but
it's more important.
This will be a different class, digital media literacy, and maybe do some radio stuff here, but full time, I'm not sure yet. I have my feelers out and I'm thinking about different things, but I do know that I want there to be a community component to whatever I do.
Yes.
If it's nonprofit, something for a cause, that would be wonderful. So I'm kind of in the research phase.
Well, there you go. And nothing wrong with that. And I know you've got a strong family around you. You've got, you do share some of the, growing up of your kids. I enjoy seeing that on Facebook. Yes, that's certainly important. And you used to talk about your husband on the radio all the time. So, he's known. So, it's, now I think you got it all together. It's the business that's, having the problem right now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
It is. That's I lucked out. I was really in one of the golden eras of radio, starting out in top 40 and then, playing oldies for the last 20 years of my life. I just enjoyed every moment of it. But again, time marches on. You can only be sure of change, and that's what's ahead for you. And I have the feeling you'll land on your feet just, like you did after that storm. So,
Well, I actually landed on my butt during the storm.
Now, you didn't tell us about what surgery needed to be done there. No, I'm sorry. We won't go there. We won't go there. So, again, I enjoy your story all the way around, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I'm maybe not quite as much as you, but I am interested in how things happen and what happens. If there's anything I can do with the folks that I know that you need any help with, please, reach out. I've followed your career almost since the beginning, and so it's fun to see how things have gone for you, and I have the feeling there's a lot more ahead for you.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for letting me be a part of your podcast. I'm honored. Like, I'm alongside all these greats.
Well, there are some folks that I'll interview, hopefully down the road here. They're going to say the same thing about you, Tracy. So,
I don't know about that, but
thanks,
we'll see.
Thanks again. And it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, for me too, Chris. You take care.
Radio Split Ranch.
Despite the changing nature of broadcasting in the 21st century, I don't believe much will stand in the way of her success as Tracy begins her latest career chapter. We wish her the best of luck. Look at it this way. If she could survive weekends doing news on WGY's Joe Gallagher's show, she can survive anything. I went looking for an air check of Tracy appearing with Joe and I on a Saturday morning, but alas, I guess I wasn't recording on the occasions we appeared together. But it's always fun to include some craziness from Joe's unique way of entertaining, as he did for so many years on Schenectady's 50,000-watt blowtorch, as Clear Channel stations were often referred to. Let's go back together again. January 21st, 2017, see what's on Joe's mind. I hope it makes you want to join us again next month. Until then, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Who think they're so important that the world revolves around them? Well, I say to them, take a step back. However, there is one such person that is important, that the world would stop without him. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Joe Gallagher.
I mean, everybody, they think that the world revolves around them.
How do you do that with a straight face?
That's just not the case. But me, I mean, everything would stop if I just.
How do you do that with a straight face?
Huh?
How do you do that with a straight face?
Well, you accusing me of having political aspirations or something?
No, not at all. We don't have to go that direction.
Okay. This is the day after the inauguration. Can you spell inauguration?
No, I don't think I can.
Oh, seriously, come on. You can't spell inauguration?
I'm not doing a spelling test on
You don't want.
radio
We're going to have
with
one
you.
at 9:00. Tracy doesn't know it yet, and Zach doesn't know it, but I have a spelling bee lined up for 9 this morning.
My wife's great niece just won the spelling contest in her school, and now she goes to Proctor's in February.
Nice.
So the next step, and if she gets past that, she could wind up in the big B.
Wow.
Yeah, how cool is that?
The words in those spelling bees
man. Yeah.
are like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. And she didn't think she got it right, to be honest with you. When her hands went to her mouth. Oh my gosh, I got it right.
Oh.
And she won. Yeah, it was pretty.
And how old is she?
She is 13.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Good luck at Proctor's. This is the time of the season for spelling bees, so I thought I'd pop one on Tracy and Zach at 9:00, and myself too. I'm not going to be excluded from this. So
Wait a minute. You're saying the words?
Well,
How could you not be?
No.
You're going to have the word in front of you, Joe.
Don't mislead the listeners now with that
Okay.
baloney, because I will be asking questions, and I think that I think that at least 2 of the 3 are going to do all right. But I'm not going to say who. Zach, don't look over here. I was not referring to you. Okay, you don't have to look over here like that. I was not referring to Zach, although he thought I was. But I wasn't.
Okay.
That's a shame that he would think that.
Yeah.
It might very well be, well, I don't think it'll be what's her name, because she's pretty smart. But then again, I'm pretty smart, and Zach, you're pretty smart.
You're well read, Joe. You tell me you're reading all the time.
I just finished Andy. I finished Andy and Don Knotts' book.
Yeah, you were telling us that was
I'm reading
fun.
a book now about the invention of Russia.
Interesting.
You see, I'm interested now because of the problems with Russia and China and all that.
Yeah.
I want to get a little background on their countries.
Cool.
So this is from when way back with Stalin right up through today.
Yeah.
They're showing how
Interesting.
Russia went from the Soviet Union to Russia and how it's changed.
So what will you do with all this knowledge?
I don't know. I'll forget it like I do everything else I read.
What happens if they just drop the big one and you die with that
Oh,
knowledge?
stop.
I mean,
Hey, Chris, how could you say that?
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm interested in checking out a world. You ever look at a world map?
Not in a while, but yeah.
Do you know where countries are?
Pretty much. I'm pretty good at it.
Do you know what's just above China on the map?
You know, why is it all quizzes all of a sudden? What is this, Joe? You have much too much time.
You can't spell inauguration. You don't know what's just above China, and you're trying to smooth
You have much too much time on your hands.
Senator, we have Senator Chris Warren with us from our. Okay, never mind.
That's what I'll do in my retirement. I just shared with Joe, and I'll share with everybody that I'm retiring from my full-time work.
That is,
yeah.
That's what makes a younger person happy.
So
they
now
can move up.
I get to do what you do all week.
Well,
nothing.
I beg your pardon. I happen to be in a think tank for most of the week.
Oh,
When I'm not in a think tank, I'm a gym rat.
Is that what they call the bathroom now?
When I'm not a gym rat, I'm a male model. When I'm not a male model, I'm a motivational speaker. You think I'm sitting around here?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
How does he find the time?
I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I'm that's why I said if I should stop, the world does revolve around me.
Well, that's true. Now that you mention it that way, Joe, yeah, it's true.
So you don't want to try to spell inauguration?
No, I don't.
Can
it's
you
funny.
spell it?
I sure can. Why would I not be able to spell inauguration?
If I went to type it out, I'd probably do fine. But if I sit here and try to do it out loud, I will mess it up. And, I'm not going to be embarrassed like that.
The 13-year-old then would be, oh, no.
Well, exactly.
Okay.
We can call Grace, my niece.
You think Grace could probably spell it?
She could probably spell that, yeah.
Do you want to get her on the phone? Or?
No. I don't bother her this early on a Saturday morning.
What is it now again, Uncle Chris? You can't spell what? Okay, so, all right. Well, anyway, let's forget all that. Let's move on to happier.
You know why I'm not as good at spelling as I used to be? It's because everything gets corrected automatically for me.
Exactly. That's weird. That's strange.
Yeah, it is. And here's something funny. A few years ago, after many years of the self-correcting typing that you're doing, I went to write a note to somebody, and I looked at the word, and I wasn't sure if it's correct or not. I'm sitting there waiting for it to fix itself.
And it didn't.
It didn't fix itself.
Handwriting, the older you get, the handwriting starts to get even shakier, even though it's shaky to start off with.
You probably wouldn't recognize my signature anymore.
Right. Really?
It has changed. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just,
Now, my younger son, Mortimer, his signature, I can't even, looks like somebody spit something on a piece of paper.
Yeah, our older son could be a doctor with his handwriting.
Yeah. I said, well, is that your signature? And he said, yeah. And I said, who would even know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I thought, I like to make it so you can read it.
It's not a bad idea.
So. But he said, Dad, we can't even read it when you do write it the way you think you can read it. Nobody can. My writing is, I'm a left-hander. The nuns tried to change me to a right-hander.
Oh, really?
They wanted me to write. They didn't want left-handers.
Yeah.
And I refused. I rebelled. I said, no. I said on behalf, you know what I said? Here's what I said. I stood up in class, Chris. You want to hear what I said?
I want to hear what you said, Joe.
I stood up in class.
Yeah.
And
what did you say?
I said to the sister, Sister, without left-handers, you wouldn't have Sandy Koufax. You wouldn't have Warren Spahn. You wouldn't have Joe Gallagher. And she said, well, she didn't know who Sandy Koufax or Warren Spahn was. So she says, and then I sat down to the applause of all the.
There you go.
Yeah. Said, Joe, thank you for being a brave student.
Wow.
So she let me remain left-handed. My brother's left-handed too.
How about that?
Now, Zach.
I have two brothers that are left-handed.
Do you really?
Yep.
Now, Chuck Custer, underhanded. Isn't that weird? Like some people are right-handed or left-handed. He's underhanded.
Now, did you know that all polar bears are right-handed?
What?
I didn't even know they could write, but polar bears are all right-handed.
What do you mean? Were
they favor their right paw, evidently.
They don't write or anything. They don't sign.
The last I checked, they don't write. Now,
so when they go to get food, they get it with their right hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Or left-handed. I forget which, but, it's one of those.
Now, my older son's dog had a little surgery the other day.
Mm.
And I don't want to get into what it is because it's...
So not going to be a father?
Okay, let's not go there now. I don't want to get into this stuff. But anyway, he took a day off to stay home with his dog after the next day.
That's nice.
But the dog did not slow down one iota.
Really?
He said the dog was going crazy. And so he's running around. So the next day, he had to take another day off from work because he didn't get any sleep today. So they said to him, how's your dog? He said, the dog's fine. I'm the one. I'm the one that's really in bad shape now.
Yeah, exactly.
So he had to, the dog is really something. You know, you think he would just relax for a little bit and, you know, rehabilitate.
Right.
But he's taking all this.
I certainly would.
Yeah.
Chris, I find every excuse I can.
Well, I see what you're saying. Okay, I thought you were.
Oh, no.
Okay, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife feels like you're one of those guys, too. Whenever you're sick, it's like, you know, the world has come to an end.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not. I mean, but she thinks I am.
Yeah, exactly.
But then if they get sick, they whine more than we do, even though they complain we whine when we get sick.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
All right. You don't want to spell inauguration.
No, I don't want to spell inauguration.
So what are you going to do with your free time now that you retire? You know, retirees everywhere would like to know what you...
Well, actually, the fun part, you know, again, we don't talk about my other life very much on the radio, but I've been working as in a company that teaches voice acting, which, you know, I do a lot of. And so I'm now going to just teach part-time at the same place and, you know, pull back on the full-time schedule and do more on the days off, hopefully do more voice acting.
I see.
Yeah. So you might hear me on other radio stations and TV stations. And you know, when you go to take a course online, it might be my voice, you know, that's teaching you that course and stuff like that. Yeah. That's sort of the stuff I do on my part-time now. And now I can do it more full-time. Yeah.
Well, I have voice acting, I do. And one is when my wife will say, can you do the laundry? And I'll say, my knee hurts.
That's good.
That is voice acting.
That's good. That's how I started. Yeah.
Yeah, my knee hurts.
I worked up from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do a little bit of voice acting at home, too. Anyway, we got the football, no games today, 2 tomorrow.
2 tomorrow, yeah.
Then the winners of those 2 will play in the Super Bowl
in 2 weeks, yeah.
Where is the Super Bowl?
I forgot. Where is the Super Bowl?
Houston.
Really?
Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever watch Cops on TV?
No.
They sometimes they put on this Mardi Gras special in New Orleans. Right. It is out of control.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't even want
Where'd that come from?
Huh?
Because you think of the Superdome. Is that what
Well,
makes you think
sometimes the Super Bowl's played in New Orleans.
Oh, okay,
and I thought that the what is I'm just talking about? Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Oh, I've been there, not for Mardi Gras. I was there once for Halloween, and that was just as nuts.
It's crazy.
It is really crazy.
I mean, there's thousands of cops, and they just have to keep arresting people, and they don't want to.
Yeah.
But they're just doing all kinds of weird things.
Yeah.
Like what?
No, you don't. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, now he's contacting his travel agent now. Zach has got making plans for February.
I want to go to Bourbon Street.
And with the ladies, well, never mind. I'm not getting into it. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Miss Michelob dries all over the place.
You brought it up, Joe.
I know. I'm sorry. So anything going on this weekend?
We've got my granddaughter today. Looking forward to being with her all day today. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So it's always fun.
I'm getting a text.
Getting a text. Is that what that noise was?
Did you hear the duck?
I heard the duck, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It quacks like a duck.
Let's see who's calling, who's texting.
Walks
me.
like a duck.
Oh,
it's probably Chuck.
Chris, you could volunteer your coaching services to help Joe become a quasi-professional. You know, see, that's what I mean. What would bring that on? What would bring that? That's not the spirit of it.
I can't imagine what would bring that on. You've never said anything disparaging about Chuck.
Never have. No, would I ever. I never would even think along. That's just. Do you want to chew them out on the air, or do you want to wait?
No, Chuck's a friend of mine. We actually sat together at the Christmas party, which somebody didn't go to.
Oh.
In our presence.
Did you win
area.
something?
So, no, I didn't.
I got chewed out from one of them.
But I had a good time. And it was good food.
Did Chuck win?
I don't remember.
I think
he did win something.
Did he win something?
I think so.
I got chewed out by one of the lady announcers. I'm not going to mention her name. She chewed me out on an email for saying that the only reason they went were for prizes. Why else would you go? You wanted a prize?
No.
Oh, you wanted to mingle.
First of all,
nobody knows
I'm only here on Saturdays.
And they don't even know who you are.
I hardly see these guys, and some of them are old friends. We've worked together for a long time, so I look forward to events like this where I can catch up with folks. And
so there's more to it than prizes then?
Absolutely.
Well, stupid me then. No wonder I got chewed out.
Yeah, right.
All right, Chris. Well, you're on tomorrow.
Yes, I am. Right after Casey Kasem on 98.3 TRY.
You're not retiring from that.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No,
And
I'll still be around here. You can't get rid of me that easily.
More time to prepare for dedications. And I can't mention that lady's name. Did you hear what happened after you left?
Yes.
I got 2 emails.
Yeah.
2 different people
That's
had her
pretty
turn
cool.
off
just by saying that name out
Yes,
loud.
which we don't say anymore.
Started their device.
Don't start. Alexa, don't start. She's starting to be a thorn in my side now. Okay.
Who?
Never mind who. But anyway, well, Chris, you'll be on tomorrow. We'll see you next week. Plenty of free time now.
Yeah, exactly.
You can come in during the week.
I could.
Yeah.
Would I see you here?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, there's no prizes during the week. All right. All right, I'll see you later.
Take
Chris
care.
Warren, ladies and gentlemen, from our sister station, 851. Here's the forecast.
The WGY AccuWeather forecast.